welcome to the part 2 finale of Dune Desertfall. Tonight's episode is part 2 of High Watermark. And yeah, things got really gnarly to the point that we had to do a part 2 of the finale. But let's just get some real quick business out of the way. This weekend, Modiphius will be at the UK Expo, demoing some really cool stuff, such as Cohor's Cthulhu Tactics, Mass Effect, and stuff like that. Speaking of Cohors, wow, I can talk. I'm already nervous about the game because all the players may die. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Cohor's Cthulhu Tactics is now available on Kickstarter. Just debuted yesterday. And going along great. Get in there early, get in your orders, and we are still doing the Dreams and Machines competition. If you have 1,000 followers or less, just do a 1-minute piece of content, open a book, design a character, do a coloring book, just say for a solid minute how much you like Dreams and Machines, and if you win, you'll get $500 toward your streaming setup. And then second place will get a series of second placers will get $100 in the Modiphius shop. So I think that's everything. Now we have to do a small recap on the horrors of last week. The night has gotten long. Dinner was set out. A couple people weren't there. Jamelia was still a little bit shocked. So Lyra sent her to her room with some food to relax, and then later went to speak with her. Lord Reese wandered the halls and went down to the basement and found a body, that of Nava, one of the housemaidens, apparently stabbed to death by a kitchen knife. Working on the information he got from his friend Tess, and conversing with the other agents of the House Atreides, it looks like that whoever has been building the bomb and who this assassin is probably very deft, very quickly moving, very agile and dexterous. So in a attempt to draw one of them out, Novieh purposely stumbled, dropping some plates during dinner service. Vissal very quickly reached out, caught some of the plates, and helped, while other people just kind of stood aghast at what was going on. So they began to think they had a target. Making sure Cora and Umar are staying outside to prevent anyone from leaving. Dinner service ended. Dishes were washed. People began going back to their dormitories. And Novieh, on inference from Sister Lyra and Lord Reese, based on the information that everybody had, stepped into the kitchen, asking Vissal to come along. And as Vissal went into the pantry, Novieh stepped in after her, turned and locked the door, and went to throw a punch. That is when Vissal drew her crysknife, the sharpened blade of a sandworm. And the fight was on, pinning him to the wall, thrusting the blade at his throat, asking, "What are you doing?" Novieh, attempting to twist the arm, pulls her away. But then the skilled assassin of House Atreides, Novieh, misjudged, and a crysknife was shoved to the hilt up into that small space between the left side of the chest and the arm. Vissal pulled the blade out, dropping Novieh to the floor, grievously injured and bleeding. When the door was thrown open, and there stands the sisters, commanding Vissal to stop and drop the knife with the voice. Everything was quickly figured out, and it turns out that Vissal is not one of the assassins. Visal is a Fremen, tied up and beginning to scream in Chakopsa. We cut to the upstairs landing of the residency, where Lord Arzu Reese is just loitering, having left everything and decided to go upstairs because he is possibly at threat as well. You hear the scream, anger, words you don't understand echoing from the kitchen. Something very drastic is going on, Arzu. What are you doing?
Running.
Okay.
Takes off, and he's taken off in that direction. He's at the upstairs main landing, so I guess he's heading down the hall towards the upstairs servants' quarters, and then he's heading down the staircase from there.
Okay. How fast are you moving?
Quick, as fast as he goes.
Okay. How are you going to navigate the stairs? As fast as you can?
Nibble.
Okay. I would like a let's do a move roll here. I know that you are nimble. Let's see. You're going to reduce the difficulty by 2 thanks to nimble. So this will only be a difficulty 1 for you.
Okay.
So just get 1 and you're all good. Don't roll a 20 or you're falling down the stairs.
All right, I do have a focus.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of my drive here.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting.
I think I'm gonna go justice. Which is I must speak for those whose lives I command.
Yeah, that absolutely applies. Something with the group that you were sent to oversee and protect. Something very bad has gone wrong. Something has gone badly, horribly, completely wrong. Well, there you go. You did indeed hit it, and you only needed 1, and you've got 2. So the good thing is, there's 1 point of momentum in that pool. So you skid almost to a stop at the top of the servant stairs. The yelling is getting louder, and you very nimbly, with your acrobatics, slide down on the soles of your feet, just skipping every other step and landing with a fairly dramatic thud on your feet, little bit of your cape flaring out, and you see this horrific sight in front of you. The sisters are tying and securing Visal. Novieh is clutching the upper side of his left side, just bleeding profusely. Something very bad was hit. Visal is screaming, completely uninjured, and there is a crysknife on the ground, soaked with blood to the handle.
Okay. Is Mara here?
No.
Cool. He approaches in and kind of just takes the cape that you just mentioned. He takes it off and he tosses it to Demira. That may help with the bleeding. I need to talk to Mara, and he is going to kind of see if he can hear if she's coming. I kind of doubt that she would be coming from where he just came from, so I think he's focusing either like towards the dining room or the ballroom.
It sounds like there are rapid steps coming from the dining room area.
Cool. I'm heading right there immediately.
Okay. There are also there's a lot of chittering and wonders of what's going on. coming from the dormitories as well at the top of the stairs.
He before he does that, he shoots back a look at Demira of like, this shouldn't be happening in the open. It's not stern, it's concerned.
And you're talking about because of the situation, the fact that it's as dire as it is, correct?
It's kind of like a maybe not in the kitchen where everybody's gonna gather kind of a thing. But
Yeah,
there's not a lot of
she
time.
probably would like almost like look like once receiving that and that glance, it's kind of like a when a parent reprimands a kid. So it's kind of just that like kind of nod, but then like glance downward, not really keeping that eye contact.
Arzu, as you listen, you hear rapid steps coming through the dining room toward the doorway to the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm trying to cut her off.
Okay. Easily done. You're still moving very quickly, and her steps sound concerned and rapid, but careful.
Mm-hmm.
And as you turn the corner, she stops, and
Hands
her
up.
hand is on her crysknife.
Mm-hmm.
It's not drawn.
His hands are up.
What have you done?
We need to have a conversation very quickly.
You need to tell me what is going on and why Weasel is screaming.
I'm going to do exactly that.
She's approaching you very slowly, and that hand is not moving.
Yep. And he lowers his voice. Nava is dead in the basement.
What have you done?
I'm telling you what I found. Nava is dead in the basement. And
the
I
Chris
think
knife is slowly sliding out.
I think it is either Jamelia or Shala.
She is really wary of you.
Mm-hmm. He's not moving. Once they have like, he's not making any sudden moves because he knows about the Chris knife, and he knows
it's
that,
obvious
like,
at this point.
Yeah, like he's not making any sudden movements. He's trying to appeal like to her nature of like, I found someone dead, like, and I think he's trying to do so in a way that like, obviously he's not going to come up to Mara and be like, hey, I killed her. You know,
like because of your constantly watching and passive scrutiny talents, you immediately know that if one wrong word or one movement is said, she is on you. Sure. And that knife is coming. So I need you to make, because you are attempting to persuade someone that you are not guilty of something and that you just found something, I will need a communicate roll from you. The difficulty will be 3. She does not trust you.
Sure. I'm going to use truth.
Cool.
Which is, you will know me
you
by
do
my
have
deeds.
one there is a point in momentum. You also have your determination points still.
Yeah, I'm holding on to that. Okay. I just want to make sure I did this right. So I'm using communicate. Okay, cool. Truth.
Using that momentum, 3 dice.
Yep.
You can always give me threat for an additional die. I'm only at 18.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Don't have a focus.
Oh. Wow. She stops moving toward you and looks you deep in your eyes. And you just see that moment of communication that she recognizes you've been truthful to her to an extent, but challenging, but not necessarily in a power struggle sort of way, just like meeting someone on equal terms. And the crysknife is slowly lowered, not completely, into the sheath hidden under her robes.
And then he very carefully explains that he went into the basement during dinner on a hunch, and he saw Nava, did not touch her, and then he is going to very clearly ask, the only people that I suspect at this point are those two, Shala, Jamelia, and Weesal. Is Weesal one of yours?
Yes. That's why she is screaming, "What have you done to her?"
I'm not going to role play this because I want to make sure that this is clear.
Mm-hmm.
That he basically just says that he suspected her, but he has not done anything.
No, fair. But Weesal is screaming, and you just said that she was a suspect. So she steps up to you and kind of puts her hand on her shoulder and goes to turn you around. Lead me there.
He doesn't resist.
Her hand does not come off your shoulder as you walk toward the kitchen. Speaking of a bleeding assassin, a very angry Fremen, and two sisters of the Bene Gesserit, what are you all doing?
Currently, I'm bleeding out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, after getting Arzu's it was cloak, correct? After that was tossed in her direction and kind of that instruction, like, we need to fix this. Basically Demira's focus, because I believe that we still have we saw tied up.
Yes.
With hands behind. So basically she's not a direct threat currently to Lyra. So she's going to basically then take that and try to then kind of stop the bleeding, or trying to help Novieh to not continue to bleed out, but also to she's making sure that too it's going, whenever people enter, it's going to look like basically like, oh my gosh, like, it's almost like one of those things where she's helping and making sure she's as bloody as possible, so it looks like she's trying to help a situation. So then it's like, hey, your girl is wilding out, I'm trying to fix this.
Okay. Let's see, you have Prana Bindu and you have Hyper. So I'm going to kind of give it to you that you're applying the pressure correctly, that you're attempting to stem the bleeding.
Yes.
He's not in danger of dying, but there's definitely a little bit of permanent damage that's been done, at least until,
Right.
He can properly be healed. Novieh, the pain is excruciating. It's just like there was a weak point and she found it. But you do have Demira is on you, putting pressure on the wound, tying what seems to be actually kind of like an intricate knot to try and stem the blood. Lyra, what are you doing? Visal is currently, sounds like cursing, yelling, and or probably deriding you and generations to follow. Unfortunately, you don't understand Jacobsa, but she's completely just enraged.
Wish I had something to calm her down. Give me a second, because personally, like, Cynthia is panicking over the situation.
I don't doubt it.
But,
This is not a good situation.
but I don't think Lyra would be panicking. I think Lyra would be actually recalculating everything in her mind, which leads her, I think, to the same assumption that Arazu has come to. Our conclusion is that it's either one of two of her girls. And she had a conversation, I believe, with Jamelia first, where she used the voice and asked directly about being a spy, and Jamelia said no. Correct?
Yes. And
So
Shala
that
was under the voice when she was interrogated by Arzu.
right. And did she say no?
The direct ask that Arzu said is, have you killed anybody in the last 24 hours? Sorry, in the last calendar year. And she looked incredulous and said, I helped move Aisha's body. And
So she
then he said,
redirected the question.
yes.
Was I there for that part?
I
Okay, that's what
don't think so.
that's why
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why I'm not operating on that information, because I was like, I don't remember being there for that.
But you were told that she sat down immediately without hesitation on Paul's bed, even though it was trapped.
Okay. Assessing the situation, as I can see that it's starting to get packed with a whole bunch of people.
Yep.
I am going, how close is Arazu with Mara?
They're in the dining room. They're getting very close very fast.
Okay. I am going to look at Weesal and use the voice on her.
Oh shit. Okay.
And I just like spin that all the way around, didn't I?
Yep. Difficulty 3. This is daunting. She is very mad, does not trust you, does not trust anyone in the room, and is looking between you and Novieh, as if your life is going to end.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. She's very mad and tied up and was assaulted by a member of your group. So, yeah, doesn't like you
Understandably.
very much. Yeah.
Understandably. Okay, so I do. How much threat do you have, my friend?
18.
Should we make it an even 20?
Yeah, if you want two automatic thingies, yes.
You
Sorry,
could,
everything's just like, yeah, so you can add
I
one.
need 3 successes, correct?
You need 3, and if you give me 2 threat, you get 2 automatically.
Plus we have momentum.
Momentum was used on the communication test between Arzu and Mara.
Okay, then never mind. I'm just gonna do a straight. Yeah, I'm gonna do a straight voice because I have a backup plan if it doesn't work.
Okay.
You're
just looking for 1 success.
Communicate. I am, good Lord, using duty because this is my responsibility to my sisterhood to make this right.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, no, that's not a conflict at all.
Or, actually, let me make the argument for power, because power is given to those who can keep their composure. And I think Lyra, if she can keep her composure in this situation, feels like she might have the upper hand in power.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
Whether that's actually a true statement, who knows?
I like that. I like that.
Okay. 2 die. No focus. This is so sad. I have no focus, even though in communicate, I have a focus in secret language.
Yeah, unless you're gonna draw little dots on her face.
Negative.
Woo boy.
Now, if I would have given you the 1 thread, I would have made it.
Yeah, but you gave me 2. So that was 2 automatic successes plus 2 more. So there's 1 in the momentum pool. And you feel that even though she is very, very upset and confrontational, you feel the voice, because this is an overt use of the voice. Like, everyone in the room is hearing you do this. What are you telling her to do?
I need you to calm down.
there's a very sharp intake of breath as if she is going to yell again. And whereas normally you see somebody kind of like straighten and their face goes slack, hers just calms. There's still a fury behind her eyes, but her body language and her emotions seem to calm.
May I ask an additional question?
Sure.
Because Lyra would probably get, because she's sitting, right? She's manacled.
Mm-hmm.
She would get down to her level and like look in her eyes and go, I know what this looks like. I need to know where Shala is.
I don't know.
Okay, we will get to the bottom of this. And she stands up, looks to Novieh and her sister, and ensuring that this whole situation, like that she's got it. And Lyra is gonna like not bolt out because that looks suspicious, but she's getting the hell out of Dodge and she's going to collect her girls.
Okay, so you're going up the staircase?
Yes.
Okay.
We are gonna have a chat.
You do that very quickly. Visal is calm, and as you leave her presence and as the voice begins to fade, the effects of it, she is still calm and composed, but there is just anger.
Rightfully so. I understand that.
Yeah. As you go upstairs, Demira and Novieh, into the kitchen is pushed Arzu, with Mara immediately behind him. Mara sees what's on and just pushes him aside and rushes toward Visal, stepping over the bleeding body of Novieh. And they communicate. Yeah, go ahead.
Demira, what happened? Which I'm saying so that Mara can also understand that Arzu does not know what happened.
Sister Lyra and I, we heard a commotion and we went immediately into the kitchen, and that's when we saw Novieh on the ground bleeding, with her, a blade in her hand.
She is one of Mara's. And he's like closer so that like it's not just like a hey everybody, I just announced that. Mara, what is she saying?
They're actually speaking in a language you don't understand. And then Mara just turns very quickly when you say that. Your assistant followed her into this pantry, led her in here, locked the door, and attacked her.
I was nowhere near this area. What are you referring to?
She's referring to Novieh.
Novieh is not his assistant.
True, but
like she's saying this
semantics.
directly to Mara, like, how dare you? You know, kind of trying to get the conversation in a certain direction.
Mara, I have no control over Novieh in that official sense, is what I believe Sister Demira is referring to, but semantics at this point, I think, huh?
Mara hears you and slightly processes it. You can see it just kind of, you can see that she heard it, and she just turns her head to Novieh on the ground. Why?
I think this is where his mask is fully dropped because he just doesn't have the energy to keep it up anymore. And I think he growls out, "You are not who I answer to." And I'm trying to bide time in order to like. So, Trevor, I'm burned at this point.
Not necessarily.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I can talk my way out of this.
Oh, and you mean in this situation?
Yes, I'm
Oh no,
burned.
you're screwed.
Yeah, I'm burned, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? If I'm burned and it's found out that I'm an assassin employed by generations of the Atreides, that like it's over, right? Like I'm so I need to my only goal right now, Trevor, and I'm like is to escape.
Can I assist with something really fast?
Sure.
Because Demira is currently still applying and trying to stop the bleeding, and she's going to turn her direction towards Mara. This is not the time for an interrogation. Seeing as that he's bleeding out and could die at any second, he cannot answer your questions. How about we treat the injury? That way, we can get down to the solution to this problem.
Take your Atreides into the dining room. Treat him on the table. I will talk to Visal.
And Demira is going to basically look over to Arzu like I need assistance because
yeah,
I'm
he's
he's almost like keeled over at this point.
Yeah, no,
Demira's small.
He approaches carefully, and he's like, when he gets close tomorrow, we can have a conversation about this, but let's get the boy treated.
No one leaves the building.
No one, indeed. As like not contentious, like agreeing, like.
One more thing.
Mhm.
On the way out, do I see where is her Chris knife still on the ground?
It is on the ground, but Mara is between you and it.
No, basically on the way out, Demira wants to basically kick it over in the direction to Mara, basically like to show the blood stains on, like to make a statement.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that
no,
basically
that's
that is your person who did that.
yeah,
We
totally
had nothing to do
fine.
with it.
Yeah, totally
Yeah, so it's
fine,
kind of like
absolutely.
a statement, like a kick, a defiant kick in that direction. So it slides and hopefully knocks upside her ankle so she sees the blood on the Chris knife.
Careful. Slice the ankle open.
As you're moving, you kick that toward her, and Mara very deftly reaches out and picks it up and is looking at it and begins talking to Visal again in angry but hushed tones as you are manhandling as calmly and delicately as possible Novieh into the dining room and onto the table. Lyra, as you're heading up the staircase, there's a huge commotion up there. People are coming out of their dormitories, peeking around doors. There's chattering. It's like, what's going on? Everything is just chaos.
I think Lyra uses this moment to try to calm everybody down, not using the voice, but just please stay calm. Everyone stay inside. We are handling this, and you'll hear from everything shortly.
A couple of the staff are looking concerned again because the concept of something going not fun is happening again, because again, 2 people had died yesterday morning, or well, technically that morning. It's later in the evening of that day. And yeah, it's like Talora is looking very concerned. Jamelia and Shala are like talking in a room. The door is open, but they are together.
Do they make eye contact with me?
No, they have not exited the door.
Okay, we could beeline straight to them.
Okay. They are talking amongst themselves. They're both sitting on the bed looking at each other. Shala is holding Jamilia's hands, and both of them look very upset.
I'm going to stand in the door. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to see how they address me first.
They don't, for the first moment, they don't really notice you. Jamelia is crying and just saying, I don't know what's going on. Everything is just so bad. I was asked if I killed Shakir and Razi, and Shala's like grabbing her hands. It's like, they asked me too. They asked me too. They're just looking for the person responsible. We have to trust them. We have to help them. We have to help our sister. And Jamelia nods and looks up and sees you and tries to immediately compose herself, like pulls her hands away from Shala. Shala turns toward you and does the same thing, like folds her hands and bows her head. Sister,
What seems to be the
is
trouble?
everything wrong?
Everything. There's a lot that is going on. I wouldn't necessarily say that it was wrong. Depends on whose perspective you look at it on this. Doesn't matter though. I need your assistance, both of you. Quickly, come with
Yes,
me.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And they both get up and immediately begin following.
I pulled them into Paul's quarters.
Okay, so you're going all the way across into Paul's quarters?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not a problem. That's easy. While that's going on, because that is a bit of even a quick walk. So team triage, how are you? Like, he's bleeding. You've got it stemmed, and because it is being controlled, Novieh, as I stated in our chat, you have a permanent complication. You are badly wounded.
Mhm.
Every difficulty you attempt is +1 in difficulty, and your move score has been halved.
Oh man. Okay.
Rounding up if it's an odd number.
Uh, so this is gonna make escaping much tougher.
Probably.
But I think I still have to try. And so I think like is there any sort of skill to help? I guess like I mean, you made the joke about team triage, right? Is there
Mhm.
anything that I could do myself in order to like stitch myself up or something?
I mean, generally in the Dune system, uh unless it's like a very major PC or NPC, the world of Dune is savage, so it's one and done. Because it was
Okay.
not an extended conflict, you just have the permanent condition
Mhm.
until you are treated correctly by
Okay.
by an actual doctor and things like that. But
Demira will whisper, or like not whisper, it's kind of just like in a more hushed tone. Wait, do we know where his quarters are? No, we don't know where Novieh's quarters are.
yeah, he was staying in the dormitories with the rest of the
Okay.
staff.
Okay. Well, she was still in a hushed tone. We're taking you back to your quarters. Do you have anything in order to treat this type of grievous wound?
I would say, Novieh,
Mm-hmm.
if, and this is going to be a hard choice for you.
Okay.
If you burn your asset of the Assassin's Handbook, it is not available for the remainder of this game.
Mm-hmm.
I will state that there is a chapter in there for basic field treatment.
Oh, 100% I'm burning this thing.
Okay. So, because of the way it felt, battle tactics, fighting, the length of the blade that was used.
Mm-hmm.
you know what is hurt, what has been cut, like the musculature that has been separated. You could patch yourself up enough with a tight enough bandage and strapping it and putting your arm into a sling that you will be able to stem the bleeding and prevent it from being further injured and actually begin on its way to healing. You will not gain the you won't lose the permanent condition, but you won't be bleeding out and ready to die.
Oh yeah,
You will be
100%.
stable.
100% I'm burning this thing right now.
Okay. Yeah, you have no further access to your Assassin's Handbook. And yeah, if you are taken to your quarters, you can talk them through.
Whoops. Sorry. I just clicked
no.
I just clicked something on the sorry.
I saw that. That's okay. But yeah, you can talk Arzu and Demira through how to stabilize your arm and permanently stem the bleeding until you can get to an actual sort of a doctor.
Did I get stabbed in the arm or did I get stabbed in the ribs?
It came up like it toward your ribs,
oh, got
your
it.
pectoral, and out your armpit.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
like going for a fatal wound, but since it was only a single success that she needed, it went up and under. It's not pretty. Basically, it came up like that.
Okay.
And
yeah. So I growl
happy.
out. I growl. Get me to my quarters and grab clean linen on the way.
Just a simple nod, and she shoots a look to Lord Arzu. And I think that they are in agreement to go and head to the quarters and to grab whatever's necessary.
Linens are easy. They're connected to the kitchen. They're on basically on the way up the stairs. They're very easy to grab.
I'm assuming that Arzu is like helping carry me because like I can't walk on myself.
You assume correctly.
Yeah, when I look at Arzu, what is like the expression on his face? Just nothing, right? It's yeah. But I think okay, so Novieh is gonna say something right now, and it's gonna mean one thing to Novieh. It's gonna be a point of pride to Novieh, but I think this is also gonna spur Arzu the opposite direction. And Novieh says, I hope you have gotten a good look because this is the cost of service. Because Novieh takes pride in being what he is. But I also want to give I also want to twist the emotional knife for Arzu. Because I'm assuming that connects oppositely to the plans that Arzu has.
You can see his brow furrow a little bit when you say it. And he slowly unbuttons the button on his right wrist and pulls up his sleeve, and there is a huge fucking scar, like easily like this wide, all the way up his arm. And he just says, believe me, I am aware of the cost of service. And shuts his mouth. And he After he says that, he pulls the sleeve back down. He doesn't button it up.
Yeah, I think that's where I leave it in this scene.
Cool. Lyra, with your junior sisters in tow, heading across the upper region of the residency and into Paul's bedroom. And they are following you as quickly as you move. A number of steps behind you, and they're not saying a word.
Good. Once we arrive in the room, I asked whoever's last in the door or in the room to shut the door.
Okay. Shala is the one to close the door. Jamelia looks again just almost in a panic.
Don't be frightened, my child.
She kind of looks off, off to the side and nods. And Shala just comes right up and just like stands next to her, also with her head down.
I don't know how much you know of the Bene Gesserit before you've met me, but we are a society of women who protect a prophecy. Do you understand this?
They both nod.
Did you understand that we protect this at all costs?
If you say so, we understand, yes.
Do you understand that it is an honor to protect one of those part of the prophecy?
If that is what you do, yes.
So before I introduce you to our Reverend Mother, I need to ask you several questions directly.
Shala nods, and Jamelia looks a little worried, but after a moment also nods.
So I'm gonna use a voice on Shala first.
Okay. Let's see here. Because of the heightened sense of everything that is going on, and I'm adding threat to the situation because of everything that has been happening and how everyone is doing, this will be a daunting difficulty. You'll need 3 successes.
Okay.
I mean, what's 23 threat if I already have 20?
I gotta confer with my friends here. Because I know what I want to do, but are you guys okay if I did that?
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, okay, so my
Okay.
whole plan right now is to get good and escape. So you
Okay.
you do whatever you want. This is the last game. We gotta drive it like we stole it.
That's how I feel right now.
That song gets stuck in my head now.
Yeah, we
Okay,
gotta
continue,
drive
yeah.
it like we stole it.
Yes. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and use power again.
Okay.
As my statement again, power is given to those who keep their composure. And I think again, Lyra knows that she has the upper hand in this situation against Shala.
Okay. Yeah, if you're dumping 3 threat and giving yourself 3 successes, you see Shala resist very, very briefly. And then she seems to calm and just looks at you.
Shala,
Yes, my lady.
I've known you since the moment I arrived here. You've been nothing but a great help.
I serve. I aim to please.
Excellent. I know that Lord Reese had a conversation with you. Did he not?
He did in this very room.
And what exactly did he ask you?
Many things. He asked me to sit on the bed. He asked me if I had murdered, or either directly or indirectly, anyone, how long I've worked here.
So let's start again. Have you murdered anyone in the past week?
Yes.
Who?
And her eyes are cold.
Who?
A water cellar. Nava.
Why?
Soon you. And all of you Atreides scum. Jamelia is panicking.
What makes you think that you're going to do that?
Because either you will die by hand or by the devices my hand has created.
Is that so?
Yes.
Interesting. It's really sad. You have been quite the sister.
You must learn your enemy.
Interesting way of putting things. Lyra's closing in on her, like kind of like
Okay.
circling her.
Okay.
And she's gonna whisper in her ear. Actually, one more thing before she does the whisper. Because I believe I can only ask really one question with the voice lingering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure that she heeds this command. Do I need to roll for that?
Yes, because she is actively attempting to resist you.
Okay, that's fine.
The
I'm sorry,
closer
y'all.
you-
This is the end of the game. Like, here we
The
go.
closer you get, and I am burning threat to resist.
What is my difficulty?
4.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you 3 again.
Okay. I'm going to take those 3 and use them.
Communicate.
You have a determination you could use instead.
Yes, you
Yes.
do.
Oh, remind me of this again, please.
Determination, you get an automatic 1 on one of your dice, which counts as 2 successes.
Yes, I would like to do that, please.
Okay.
And thank you.
I was like, I
So,
don't know if you want to give him all that threat, honey, when you got the killer right in front of you.
Yeah, no.
so
I'm
No.
like, your sister's in a whole different direction. Not anywhere near that
Well,
room.
actually, if I, yeah, we're not far.
We're not far, but like if something pops off,
we're not that close though.
No. And you're behind a very large door in a very posh room upstairs, and almost across the. Actually, if you're in the dormitory, you are entirely across the residency.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
risks are being had.
Yep. So,
Trevor, not to get too in the weeds here.
yep.
But can we jump back to Arzu and Demira real quick?
What do you need?
Lyra
and I have dice to figure out.
Arzu wants to know where Lyra is because it dawns upon him that he got there, Lyra was not there.
I passed you.
Yeah.
Oh, she passed.
She stated that she was going to get Shala and Jamelia.
Oh, I didn't know that was an out loud statement. Okay, cool. Then I can wait. I can wait then.
Okay. So, Lyra, you have 2 successes automatically.
Mm-hmm.
You're rolling a minimum of 2 dice. That brings it to 4. 4 potential, or way more than that. You can roll 2 dice and count on your automatic 2 successes to hit the 4, or you can give me 1 threat per die. So you can keep rolling dice to see how many successes you get. All you have to do is give me threat.
All right, game show host over here.
Welcome to Threat and Roll. Our next contestant will be Sister Lyra Dew. Lyra Dew is currently in a bad situation. How much threat is she going to give the GM? Are you still going to give me 3 to roll 5 dice?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Actually, you only have to give me 2 threat because
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I get the 2 automatic
die.
success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
get
if
an
I roll
automatic
2
1.
die,
odds are better in your favor to spend, not that I really need anymore, but the odds are better in your favor to spend 2 threats to roll 4 dice to try and hit 2 more successes, and or add to the momentum pool. Because something tells me you're gonna need that.
I would like to help at that. So my
Okay.
drive is power again.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting submit. How many dice we said? It was
4.
3? 4.
4. You got
Nice.
4.
Hi.
Shala is rolling to contest this. If I get more than 4 successes, it does not work.
Son of a. Okay.
Something
All
very
right.
bad is going to happen. I am spending
Uh-huh.
3 threat to roll 5 dice. Oh my God, there's a complication. Wow. Wow. Yeah. What is that creepy Bene Gesserit whisper going to be?
Don't move a muscle.
Oh, fuck.
And she stays still.
Yes.
I take out my Gom Jabbar and stab her.
Oh, fuck. I completely forgot you had that.
Uh-huh.
Yup.
Yeah, that's a very brutal asset. That asset is no longer available to you since it is a single use.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't need to use it on the previous occasion that it was given to you, just in case. And she watches, frozen in place, as you carefully just slide the needle into her neck. Jamelia screams in terror.
So I'm counting on a couple of things here. First off, as that happens, I'm actually going to catch Shala's body as it drops.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to whisper to Shala, you should keep your friends closer.
And you see that blackness begin to spread from the wound, from the needle point. And her eyes just starting to gloss over with this kind of satin sheen and then dull and begin to cloud white as rapidly the only muscles she ends up moving are the ones surrounding her lungs as she breathes out.
Without looking at Jamelia, because I can already feel the fear, I have one question for you, Jamelia. Do you want to follow in the sisterhood, or do you want to run?
Run.
Lyra drops Shala's body, turns to Jamelia, gives her a hug, and exchange,
she is stiff as a board.
In exchange, I slip something out of my pocket. It's a small vial of spice.
Whoa, okay. Wait, your stash of spice.
Yes.
Okay. Do you just slip it into her clothes or hand it to her?
I give it to her in her hand,
Okay.
but I'm giving her a big hug.
Her hand is shaking profusely. She is near in shock levels of panic.
If you truly want to leave, this is enough to get you wherever you want to go.
There's a shaky nod, and you feel her trying to pull away from you.
Don't be afraid of me. Please.
She doesn't say anything.
She lets go. She feels bad that like that had all happened in front of her, but
She's immediately bolting for the door and throwing it open and running down the hall. Complete panic. I just heard somebody admitting to killing another housemaid and threatening this person that was trying to teach me. And then the person that was trying to teach me stabbed her with a very, very small thin needle and killed her. I'm getting the hell out of here kind of mentality in her brain right now. Just not thinking, absolute flight response.
yeah, that's expected. I feel like if I use a voice on her, this is just not going to like turn into a great mess. So,
Things are already falling apart. Yeah, probably not a good idea. Yeah, she goes running. The rest of you just hear panicked footsteps running down the hall and skidding to a stop at one of the doors of the women's dormitories.
Would you say it's fair that we are at the top of the steps at this point?
Oh, you're already heading into Novieh's room at this point.
Cool.
If you look back, you see Jamelia running straight towards where you are and looking at a door on the right-hand side.
I will handle this.
No, this one's mine.
Oh, I meant I would have motioned towards Novieh.
Oh yeah. Thank you. This one, I got a lot of talking to do. And that right arm, you can't see it. His left arm is out. Mm-hmm. And he gingerly lets go of Novieh, and he straight dead eyes on Jamelia. He's like watching like a hawk. Like if she makes any move in his direction, he's ready.
Oh, she's running right toward you down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
But with your constantly watching and passive scrutiny, she is not noticing or caring who is in the hall.
Right.
She's gunning for her room.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he's watching, like, is she coming for him or is she going in his direction? You know, like,
oh right, no, in the direction, and like if there's any sense of anything in her eyes, she's running. She's going to attempt to move past you and go into her room.
He's gonna step in her way.
Okay. Let's see here. Ooh, all right. That works. Power, because frightened to shit. Spending a couple threat, using a focus. And let's see here. She runs right into you and kind of rolls off you a little bit to try and get out of the way.
Okay.
You could probably grab her if need be.
I'm not going to. because what I have learned in that moment is that like she is like obviously I don't think that Arzu is so well trained that he could discern like who screamed. But I think what he learned in that moment is that like she is running from something. So he's just gonna say, "What happened?"
All you hear is Shala. And she goes into her room and slams the door. And you hear things being tossed, moved, panicking, sobbing, just absolute terror. Sounds of things being gathered together.
Okay. I go down the stairs. I'm going back tomorrow.
Okay. Demira, what are you doing with Novieh? Like, as he's growling the instructions to you from this strange small piecemeal book that he has. It looks very odd. It's like kind of a tattered cover. There are pages kind of stuck in place, some of them sewn together. It looks like it's just been over the years added to, and just like information just taken from different places and put into it and copied. And Novieh, you, while all this is going on and speaking, your wound is like the large puncture wound has been stuffed with clean linen. Water has been added to it, making sure that any of the blood is stopped. You have this very tight tourniquet like knot just running from armpit over your shoulder, and you're trying to get some sort of extremely tight sling, getting your arm tied to your chest in order to keep the compression of your arm into the wound. But it seems that it's going very well.
My question is, as I'm doing this, there's two questions. Because I'm assuming that also too, when he's pointing out certain things that, because you said that I've got a decent look at this book, am I able to decipher kind of like what it is?
It's some sort of handbook from the region that he's telling you from and you're kind of reading from. Looks like just a series of notes by other people on how to treat wounds in a battle.
Okay. But not like what type of handbook it is. I don't see that much.
No.
Okay. The next thing, and I guess this is probably more for JPG, would Sister Demira notice kind of your intentions once you're getting a little bit better? Just kind of like, would you be kind of like on it, like what is your countenance, like what would she be getting from your like when she glances at your face and at you?
I think at this point it's scrambling, right? Like you would 100% pick up exactly, like I'm trying to get better in order to get out of here. Like there's no way that I can serve the Atreides in this particular capacity. Maybe not ever at this point.
I think with that knowledge, then she's going to she might even like, because she's sewing you up, correct?
Yeah, you're having a stitch thrown in here and there, stuffing a wound. Yeah.
I think there's like mid-sew, she just looks at you. Are you really going to scurry away like a little rat? And then she
and once again he growled, like, yeah, and like you hit him right when he's about to speak, so it's like it's in his voice, like that sharp pain in his voice now. And he says, a rat knows when to tread water.
A rat also knows survival.
That's what I intend to do after this.
Do you really think that this is the way? You wouldn't make it anywhere close to where you're headed. We both know that. You're smarter than that.
I think at this point, Novieh's plan is off planet. He doesn't really know where to go at this point. He probably has an idea. But I had accidentally clicked on one of my assets a little bit ago, Trevor.
I saw that.
Yeah, it was a minor house that owes me a favor.
It's a possible asset you could call in. And, if you get, I'll say this, if you get out of the residency, if you escape the residency and get to some sort of communications, like grid or shop or something, and get a message onto a highliner and out of system, you could probably get out undiscovered in a couple days.
Okay. And I would just have to hide.
Yeah. But in less than 24 hours, all of House Atreides is coming. There's already a small advance group securing the spaceport by now. So traffic will be very well monitored once the royal family steps on the sands of Arrakis.
But you're saying that if I can hide for a couple days,
oh yeah,
I might be able to get out of here.
Yes, if you can hide for 2, maybe 3 days just to make sure that people are in the residency, avoid Thufir Hawat looking for you, because you were sent there on his command, and things like that. Yeah, sure, you can attempt to make it off planet.
Okay. I have a dumb idea.
Okay, cool. I'm always down for dumb ideas. This is fires have been set, man.
So,
Gondor calls for aid.
You should probably jump to somebody else before I put this plan in action.
Absolutely. Arzu.
Well, I will say before that happens, she'll lean forward, as she's kind of still in the process of stitching. You shouldn't do this alone. You do have allies in us. Why not rely on us a bit?
I'm sorry to say, my sister, but your allegiance is clear. And for me to split, and for me to even assume that I can split said allegiance is more...
That is your words, not mine. I said nothing about switching allegiance, nothing about changing the person that you serve. What I'm saying is that in this moment, here and now, instead of giving up, maybe you can rely on the people who have been at your side during this time. That is all.
He points at his side and he says, "This is not giving up." But as you have likened me to a rat, I am now treading water, and my focus is to survive another day.
How do rats survive?
By running. Do
they not gather together in numbers?
Wait, do they? Do they?
I don't know. This is a sister of the Bene Gesserit saying this to you.
I know, right?
She's saying it with full confidence.
I know.
She's saying it with full confidence.
Yeah, I'm not stepping in as a biologist. I'm just a game master.
In numbers, think about it. It's like Sister Demira is saying it's stronger in numbers because, I'm just saying.
Yeah. I feel like our goals are at odds right now, right? So because you want me to stay, and I would like to leave. Trevor, is there a mechanic in the game where we can roll against each other for this?
It's communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Sister Demira is trying to tell him that basically he is signing his life away for basically a death sentence, because basically there is nowhere to run with this. Like, basically Sister Demira is trying to tell him, like, it's better if you stick with us where the numbers are stronger, not don't do this. So that is honestly where, just so like open table, that's where Sister Demira is coming from. Like,
Yeah.
it is not smart, but if you want to do that, you can, but it's stronger if we stick together.
And I think
Like,
Novieh as a character is approaching this as, I came into this alone, I'm coming out of this alone.
yeah, no,
in the
totally.
sense where, you know, like I had my own motivations. And I think this is, you know, this is very reminiscent of what we've seen in the earlier episodes for Novieh's personality as well, right? Because he had to amend his personality in order to be successful in every scenario, either social or combat or whatever, right? And so I think this is, I think this is him amending to the I think this is him amending to the situation. So yeah, so I would say, so is it a communicate from Sister Demira to have me stay, or is it a communicate?
We're going to do a contest. You know, two, you know, one against another. So it's however dice you want to spend, whoever has the more successes makes the point hit home.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it will be communicate, but use
I will say that in this instance, I'm going to use truth, because my statement is, I decide what is true.
Ooh.
Wow.
That's really good. I'm going to say duty. I'm going to say duty in this one.
Okay.
All right.
Are either of you spending, there is, let's see. No, there is no motivation, because,
well, so my focus is persuasion under communicate. Does this count towards this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Oh, if you don't have, I'm sorry, that's not, so I don't have technically a focus. I have a statement, but not a focus.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay. Now, if either of you would like to spend, you know, add to the ever-growing pool of danger.
No, I think this is just, I'm going. I'm gonna let Novieh go first though.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Two dice in either direction.
Duty, 2 dice. I have a focus on this one. Oh, what? That's
wow.
That's 4.
Yikes.
You rolled under your focus on both rolls.
Incredible.
Dang.
Where was that the other cajillion episodes that we did?
You know, when you're trying to like attack somebody. Yeah.
Okay. I think
your determination point.
Yes, no, I think for this, that's kind of what I'm determining. I'm gonna use my determination for this, because of the fact that I think Sister Demira sees a little bit more of an issue, not only like with the fact that obviously like Novieh is gonna possibly get himself killed, but also too, it will not look good for the group as a whole. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use that determination in this instance.
That's an automatic 2 successes.
Not enough.
A total of 3. Novieh's words ring true to you. This is the second time his past, his abilities, his training have gotten out in the open. If somebody feels like they can no longer serve in their manner, they will either be asked to leave or should leave. There's probably something else in the subtext of what he's saying, that if he has been known to fail and what he has been doing and his skills, there may be more involved for the price of failure.
With that, Sister Demira basically will continue to stitch him up and kind of in silence, kind of letting just what she said try to resonate, but at the same time, as you mentioned, she's probably going over the fact that there's probably more to his service and what is agreed upon when he took that duty that she doesn't know about. But she tried.
Arzu, you head downstairs and you see in the dining room on the opposite side of the blood-soaked table runner, Visal and Mara talking very quiet. Visal's been free of her bonds, looks much calmer. You notice a bloody crysknife sitting on the table.
Okay. Would it be fair to assume, because I don't want to metagame here, that Arzu can assume that Jamelia running and saying Shala clues him into what happened? At least
Possibly. Well, there's one or two options. One, Shala's bad and she was running away from her, or something happened to Shala.
Well, there was a scream and then he saw her running, so I think that's where he's kind of going with that.
Yeah. Something happened to Shala, or Shala did something to Jamelia and or Lyra. Those would be your two immediate thoughts.
Mara, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to assume that we have found who we were looking for.
Then bring them to me.
Well, I don't know if you heard that scream, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that Shala's dead.
And bring her to me.
As you wish. And he's going to turn and go. And he is going in the direction of where the scream was.
It was coming from the main bedrooms, the royal bedrooms.
Whichever way is quickest,
Lyra.
He's going.
Probably straight up the main staircase.
Mm-hmm.
Lyra, Jamelia has panicked, spice in hand. Paul's bedroom is softly glowing because of that glow globe. And Shala lies dead at your feet, the needle just sticking out of her neck.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in your head? Like, what are you doing?
A little frustrated at the misjudgment of the girls. Kind of had high hopes for them, so she's a little bit more somber than usual for Lyra. But Lyra's definitely going to pull out the needle and conceal it again, just in case she doesn't know who could come upon this site. Part of me wants to move her body to Paul's bed to detonate the the trap and make it look like she did it on her own, which I'm leaning towards that. So depending on how much strength I have due to physical complications, if you know what I mean, do I have the strength to be able to move her body to the bed?
You do. She's not a very large person. She's a young woman. And you do once you're back in Paul's room, you do notice that the nightstand that you had rolled onto the bed has been taken off and it's back in its place. And yeah, it's very simple to put her body onto the bed.
So I've seen that it doesn't detonate right away, so I know that I have time to put the body and clear out. And so she's dead, like out cold dead, right? Like she's not lingering or
dead,
anything.
not breathing. She is shuffled off this mortal coil.
Okay. Just making sure.
Gone to the ancestors of the Harkonnens. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Awesome. Because there was a moment that I was going to tell her something, but oh well.
Buried.
So I put her body on the bed and kind of say my last regards of we could have been good friends. It's a shame you couldn't trust people. And she backs up, hurries out the door, closes the door, and waits to hear the trap detonate.
You don't hear the trap detonate. What you hear is the footsteps, and you see Arzu coming up the main staircase.
Lord Reese.
Sister Lyra.
How can I serve you?
What happened?
You know what happened.
No, I heard a scream. Jamelia said, Shala, I would love to know more. And he's being very soft with you.
She's gone. Dead.
Was
she admitted her crimes.
Okay.
And so I took care of the situation.
Thank you. What exactly did she say?
I very pointedly asked her what questions you asked. And I ran through them yet again. And she admitted to having murdered Novieh. That was enough for me. Then she called me Arconian scum.
Atreides scum.
Atreides, sorry. Atreides scum.
You see a small smile on his face. And then he goes, the voice?
Of course.
I only ask because Shala doesn't seem the mustache twirling type.
Definitely not, but certainly admitted to her crimes.
I see. Well, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. I know you wanted to trust her.
I appreciate.
We have a Mara situation to deal with. So if you wouldn't mind accompanying me so that Mara can get up to speed.
Of course. Is there anything specific Mara wants to know or see?
Well, and he pauses. She's in there?
Yes.
And he's going to listen to see if he hears anything. Like, does he hear like the trap or anything like happen or moving? Okay.
Nope.
Well, just for starters, Mara wants her, but I get the feeling that if you took care of this personally, that may not be possible.
Oh, she's in there. May not be that easy to get her out.
He gives her a look like, am I clear to open the door?
She gives an uneasy look of like, where? Me?
Because I would wager that there's probably a pretty safe distance between the door and the bed at this for Paul's room. No,
absolutely.
Okay. He's gonna peek in.
You see the body of Shala, a large, blossoming, black vein-like stain on her neck, laying in Paul's bed. No needles, no glow globe detonation, no additional traps, nothing.
Huh.
Can Lyra like kind of peek over Arzu like to see too?
Mm-hmm.
Lyra makes the same, huh?
Arzu, you have
yes.
passive scrutiny.
Okay.
You also have constantly watching.
I do.
Would you like to use any of those talents?
Do I, is there anything to the glow globe that tells me anything about a possible detonation? Is that like, because Arzu is caught between following what Mara asked and knowing that this has been already a night of errors, and to try and go in to retrieve this body seems stupid to him. Like, knowing what he knows, like if he didn't know, he probably would have just been like, I'm grabbing her and going. But like, knowing what he knows, like all he knows is that she has been lying on that bed now for longer than she was sitting the last time that they had a conversation.
Give me a understand with it's a difficulty 2 that is accounting for your constantly watching.
Okay.
Also,
So
Trevor, out of curiosity, how much threat do you have now?
21.
Yeah, that's, if he, for me, any higher than 10, I'm careful. But I don't want to bet a game.
Yeah, I have 21. However, it was going to be a difficulty 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because of your constantly watching, you reduce that difficulty by 2. I could add threat and make it, epic, but I won't.
No,
I'm not that much
I'm just
of an asshole.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just thinking about the statement. The statement is what's catching me up because I don't really think I have a good statement for this one. So I feel like, well, I don't know if people are strength of a great house feels right, but duty to like follow the order that Mara essentially gave him is kind of where I'm going.
I could see that. And also, it was your duty to root out any possible Harkonnen agents.
Cool. All right, then that's where I'll roll. That's what I will go with. Jewelry, submit, only 2, submit, yes.
Threat.
No threat.
You hit 2.
That I did.
The stillness in the room. There's no footsteps around. There's no one. You're not talking to anyone. There's no movement. But you do hear a very, very faint, just faint enough that if people were talking, they wouldn't hear it. Ticking noise coming from the head of the bed and echoing at the glow globe.
I cognizant of Lyra, I'm gonna do like a arm sweep so she doesn't get knocked over, and I'm going to. Well, I guess is it fast? Is it slow?
No, it's like a it's like a metronome. It's just
Okay,
like it's counting.
that doesn't tell me enough to know if I should grab her or not. So I'm going to sweep Lyra like away from the door, and I'm going to pull it closed.
Okay. You don't hear anything. Like there's no like boom or thud or raining and jingling of needles.
I didn't think I would. It's just like if I know the counter is going, it's too big a risk for me right now. Like we've already so much has happened already. And I kind of like turn to Lyra and I say, yeah, we're gonna let Mara know that that trap is active. So
We will also let Mara know that this was of Shala's doing, that she sat on there and activated it.
that we will. Is that what happened?
Lyra kind of turns on her heel.
All right. And he follows.
If I can explain it, it's in one of those that Lyra doesn't want to give off the fact that she knows how to fight. So the less conspicuous of knowing that she killed Shala, the better. Not because she's trying to hide stuff.
That's fair. I think that just from Arzu's point stand is that he knows how capable Demira is. And if you are anywhere near the same level as Demira, like just based off of respect, he already knows it. Like he already knows it. And like when he went to Mara, he kind of was like, yeah, Shala's dead. It probably was Lyra because I was with Demira and Novieh's here. So
And in fact, in terms of mechanically speaking, and obviously Trevor, you can let me know, I have hidden motive. So I'm pretty good at like misdirecting anyways in that situation.
Oh, absolutely. If there was any attempt of a failure of an understand or communicate test against you, and we're not doing one, but if anybody fails against you, then yeah, you're just making shit up about yourself at that point. Like trustworthy.
Yeah, like I didn't kill her. She sat there. It happened like while I was interrogating. Like,
yeah, something bad and tragic happened. You know, gosh darn.
Let me as they're walking, because I want this to progress. Let me ask you: did she mention anything about any devices or a note?
no. No? Did she? Hold on. DM.
Yes.
Recall.
Yes.
Sorry.
She said specifically either she will kill you by her hand or by something made by her hand.
Rewind that. Yes, she did. She said either by her hand or by a device unknown to me. Do you know of a device?
Yes.
Lyra like face cracked for like a hot second there, so she's gonna come back to like composure. I see.
Sister Lyra, I informed you of such when we were with the basement situation.
I apologize. I have had a lot on my mind, and that bit of information seemed to not have connected.
It seems to me that our dear friend Shala had several contingencies in mind. And I think the best thing to tell Mara is that your interrogation techniques were such that she decided she would take herself out of the game before giving anything up.
If you believe Mara will believe that.
I don't know what Mara will believe. She had a crysknife ready to run me through, which would have made, I believe, 2 people wounded by a crysknife tonight if my math is on. So
Too soon, Sparrow. Too soon.
Too soon.
listen, he knows you can't hear him.
Come on, let the GM go 2 for 2 tonight.
No.
Batting 500, 2 out of 4. Stabby.
No,
I've got
thank
it
you.
right here, man.
The
Come on.
night's still young. The night's still young.
It is.
We gave you the one opportunity to show it off, okay?
But it is so pretty.
So
Do you want to show the Raiders your pretty crysknife as they roll in?
Oh, there's Raiders? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Raiders. So tonight, last episode, someone was stabbed by a crysknife just like this. And tonight, one was almost drawn and almost stabbed someone else. So yeah, this is an actual film replica of it, and they're really, really cool. Made from the tooth of Shai-Hulud, the great Sandor. So yeah, tried to get 2 people get with one, only got one last time. So night's still young though.
that's too soon. You talk about what I said anyway. So we're gonna, because that is what you told me, we're gonna tell, well, part of that is what you told me. We're gonna give that info over to Mara, and we're also going to tell her about what I found. Now, would have loved to done that, back when I ran into her the first time, but stakes being as they were, not enough time. So
I understand. Well, now you have me at your side, so it should go smoother.
Well,
there is a smile on Arzu's face that it's a bit of a callback to the moment that Lyra didn't see from the first interrogation of Shala, when you threatened him and he walked out of the room. It's the same smile. I don't think Lyra would know that, but it's the same smile, and it's only there for a little bit and then it's gone. Well, I think we should do our best to not keep Mara waiting. This night deserves to end, I think.
Agreed. After you.
As Demira is finishing patching up Novieh in silence, and the thoughts of possible failure and inability to do one's duty echoing through Novieh's head, and Sister Lyra and Lord Reese casually stepping down the staircase, where in the dining room sits 2 Fremen women discussing something, while a third still lies dead in the basement. With that, we're going to take a very short break. Raiders, please keep hanging out, because this is the denouement. Everything is going to hit the fan when we get back from break. So just give us 5-10 minutes to stretch, chat amongst ourselves, get some hydration, and we will be back with the conclusion of Dune Desertfall here on Modiphius. And welcome back to Dune Desertfall. We're moving into our epilogue here in the second part of our finale. For those just joining us, a Harkonnen spy was found and dispatched through the use of the voice and a Gom Jabbar poison needle from Sister Lyra Dew. Demira, the other Bene Gesserit sister, is currently giving the last bit of medical aid to Novieh, the House Atreides steward and assassin. And Lord Arzu Reese has been sent by one of the staff members of the Arrakeen Residency to bring the body of the Harkonnen traitor down to the dining room. And that's where we're going to start, with Arzu and Lyra stepping into the dining room. Both of you do see that Wisal and Mara, the two Fremen housemaidens, are sitting there calmly. Arzu, you notice that the crysknife that was on the table is now gone. And Mara turns and looks up at you expectantly and doesn't say a word.
Shala is unsafe to retrieve. Mara.
Mara kind of like looks very, very quickly, but noticeably at Lyra. And then back to you. Will she be able to be retrieved at some point to take her water from her?
There's a lot I have to tell you, Mara. Starting with, there's another trap of needles, and that is how Shala met her end. But before that happened, it was discovered that she had a plan to take out Sister Lyra and then the rest of us. She was the one that planted the trap. She was the one that caused the other members of the house their death, including Nava. And she has planted some devices that could take this house down.
Kind of sighs to herself. So you are telling me that another trap, a traitor to your house, and some sort of device that will ruin the house. We're just found several
in fact,
devices.
we have not found them. She what's the word I'm looking for? She admitted to them. Per Sister Lyra.
We do not know where they are?
No. Not at this time.
So you were saying before your family, your house, your great house arrives in 1 day's time, your job is not done and in fact has gotten worse.
That is unfortunately what I am saying.
Then this is what you will do. We will wait for Shala to become retrievable. Because you found her, it will be your job to safely bring Nava from the basement and take her to her people in the city so that her water may be added to theirs. I wish to further speak to your Atreides steward, who my friend and tribe mate was attacked by, and she defended herself. And I will explain why once all these are done. Wisal was doing what she was doing. But you discovered Nava, so it is your problem. Please treat her with respect.
That is my aim. Sister Lyra?
Wisal will accompany.
Lyra pauses for one moment. because she was at the beginning of all this was I guess the most informed or knows a little bit of reverence towards the culture. Lyra's going to ask Mara in hopes that she remembers that part. Is there anything that we need to be aware of that we need to bring Nava's family besides water?
No, the water tokens will be given to her family by the people you will meet. You simply need to carry her to them.
Is there any way to carry her to be respectful of the body, specifically?
With your hands.
Does she need to be wrapped in any sort of cloth?
That would be preferable.
It shall be done.
Tightly, and so she looks at peace.
Lyra looks at Arazu of like she kind of knows how to do this.
Mara kind of looks at the two of you and then looks to Visal and says something in Chekhovsa. And Visal stands very tall, almost. She's responding to a command. And she steps up next to you, next to the two of you, and motions you forward toward the ballroom and eventually toward the basement.
Okay. Yep. We moving, or at least our zoo is.
Visal walks
I'm going with.
behind the two of you, naturally. Demira, you have Novieh stabilized. His arm is tightly strapped to his chest. The bleeding is stopped. It's not, there is no tourniquet to the point where his arm is in danger, but he will have to seek medical attention within the next couple days, whether he finds it himself or when Dr. Yue arrives with the royal family or any other possible way. But he does have a few days of, unfortunately, horrible pain to look forward to. But Novieh, you can walk, you can function. Your head is clearing from the pain, that dull ache of your body just flooding the area with endorphins, trying to make sure you do not notice the pain. There is a dull, kind of like a thick feeling in the area where all of the linen has been folded very carefully and treated and pressed into the wound. They will have to be changed probably in 8 to 10 hours. And the wound cleaned and repacked. But you are at least mostly capable. Your right hand still feels strong, that if you were in any, let's say, practical or any situation where your practical applications would have to be applied, you could do it with your skill. But it will be harder.
Where the servants' quarters are, is that the first floor or is that the second floor?
Second floor. You're on the top all the way toward the back of the building.
Okay. I think the way that I burn the Assassin's Handbook, can I give it to Sister Demira as like a gift?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, this is completely against protocol, right? Like, this should not be leaving the hands of anybody. But
yeah, like it should probably be literally burned or given to your teacher, or somehow be reduced to nothingness, even if you have to eat every page one by one.
Oh, can I do something also too?
Sure.
I'm burning my asset which is a book that has the information basically even though it's in Bene Gesserit dots, as far as like it's like a log that basically like the ins and outs, like when I saw people go to one room to another, different things I've heard in different rooms. But I also too have a like detailed map of the grounds, of exits and everything else. And that's something that I would have had,
Mhm.
you know, kind of in addition to that other, like the schedule book.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting it out there that I'm gonna also too, in a second, after Novieh does Novieh things.
No, can I actually receive that first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, so
it's kind of like this exchange that we do, right?
so
Like
this is what I wanted to say.
Okay.
So like this, basically this, like at least in my mind, when Demira finishes, and after we had that exchange and then that silence, she will kind of reach like almost like hike up where the kind of like the fabric is, to kind of like take out of, almost like it's like folded out of her pocket. And she will then lean forward again, but this time locking eyes with you. How much time do you need?
I just ask that you lock the door behind you and stall anyone that tries to come in. And I say this knowing that Mara is coming for me.
She will hand this to you, but then she will lean even further and whisper, well, you better make it look good. And that is her saying that you have to physically hurt Demira in order to make it seem like you escaped.
Oh no!
That is the way that she's going to, how much time do you need? Because if
God.
she's
Okay,
injured,
okay.
the attention will be on her. And she just gave you your ticket out of there.
Okay. The thing that you've given me, is it like is it like is it a book? Is it like
It's like a journal. It's like a journal. So it's, yeah, so
Okay.
it's a worn torn, like it's almost like if somebody had like a diary. So if you were to look through it, if you wanted to, after she whispers that, and then kind of she slinks back and kind of just gives a little smirk. You can look through it if you'd like. There will be detailed maps of the layout, like, so giving you a little bit of information as far as exits and best ways, points of entry and exits.
Oh, geez. Okay, I'm trying to think. I'm so sorry. What's the best bone to break right now? Like the easiest bone for me to break for you to make it like seem
I think
Wait. Break whose bone?
me. I'm
yeah.
asking him to injure me because of the fact that basically I'm making it seem like that was a struggle. So then that way he has more time, because if I'm injured and I'm like healed over, the attention, because they're coming this way, and I'm sure I can hear with my hyper awareness that they are coming soon. I can delay so he can actually make his escape and go into hiding.
You can also use your pranabindu in order
Great.
to assist him. Novieh, it would be very simple just to take your right arm, wrap her shoulder, and with her assistance, dislocate her entire shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking the left shoulder because I'm assuming that she's right-handed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna dislocate the left shoulder with the journal. So I can use an improvised weapon in order to do this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm gonna give this to you since you're both doing it, and you have been yeah, Yeah, it's quite simple to do.
She's also too like kind of leaning like basically pointing at her face, like if you want to throw in some extra hits, just
No, I really don't. This is making me feel so bad. This is making me...
it's consent. It's consent. An ass whooping
this
with
makes me
consent.
feel so... Well, okay, so the other thing that I would do is I would use the side of the journal in order to cut right above one of your eyebrows.
Oh.
So there are like blood vessels like around this
Right here,
particular
yeah.
area and
I've had
along
that injury
your hairline.
before.
Oh
Yeah,
I've
no,
had that
yeah,
injury, yeah.
yeah.
And it'll bleed profusely, but not be a danger to you.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna just use the journal to cut just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll
Novieh,
probably open it further and kind of like
Yeah.
wipe it against her face in order to make it look more more of a serious situation.
Novieh, with that journal and with the map and your prior knowledge, when you moved Aisha's body, you know the fastest and least guarded way out is through the hangar. And it will probably be the last time that will be unguarded until the advance team shows up tomorrow. Going through the front, not an idea because Cora and Umar are absolutely there. Skirting around the whole building will take you too long.
Mm-hmm.
Going through the hangar will be the fastest.
Yeah, I think that's I'm but in order to get to the hangar, do you think oh god, because since we're going to be blocking the door, I have to go out the window.
What window?
Oh wait, isn't there a window in the dormitories?
No. There's
Oh,
no
no.
balcony and no ceiling, nothing. You will have to go through the door and down the hallway and somehow avoid someone until you can get to the secondary entrance. Thankfully, it is below you in an ancillary stairwell. So you can make it there fairly quickly.
Okay, yeah. So let's do it. And like
Okay.
for to add to the last scene as well too, could we make it look like Sister Tamira got like I don't want to do this, okay,
Kick through
Trevor?
the door?
I want to make sure
Yes.
No, because we have to go downstairs.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
so,
like hostage?
Could we oh, that might be a good idea, because I was gonna position you in order to go down the stairs. Like in order to like be at the bottom of the stair and like make it look like you fell or I threw you. But a hostage. Okay, let's save the hostage part.
Okay.
And we just both travel down.
Okay.
There is, as you come down the upstairs, the staircase leading into the kitchen, there's no noise. There's no anything coming from the kitchen. And as you slowly round the corner, in the kitchen, you see Jamelia just shoving food into a bag, panicked. And she just briefly sees you and turns. I have to get out of here. I'm sorry.
Then he growls out, then help me escape as well. And then that's when I look at Sister Demir and like give her that nod. And this is the point where you're going to need to be the distraction. And I'll take Jamelia.
Jamelia looks at you, Demira, very quickly. and he just kind of like holds up this small vial. Your sister gave me this to go. Please tell her thank you.
I will. Don't
And
forget
she-
what she did for you. That's all I ask.
I won't. Thank you. And she kind of reaches out. She goes to reach for Novieh's left hand and then just stops, shifts everything to her left hand and grabs you and begins running toward the small door leading to the ancillary stairwell that leads to the hangar. And you very carefully, kind of like as you go down those stairs, you look down that very, very narrow hallway toward the basement, wondering whatever happened in there. And you make it out the hangar. And with Jamilia's help, out into the streets of Arakeen, where you will lay low and, with her help, navigate the city, find a place to, no questions asked, heal until there's enough busyness happening that your message comes back and tells you to, at a certain time, go to the spaceport and get on a transport shuttle to a highliner in orbit to go elsewhere in the known universe.
I did want to use a couple. I did want to burn a couple things mechanically.
Go for it.
Okay, so I have a disguise kit.
Nice.
So I would like to burn that in order to make sure that we're safe.
Yep, I will 100% give that to you.
My headcanon is that Basima and her family are the ones that hide me for the next few days.
Oh, that's easy. Oh, easily.
And then last but not least is I want to burn a minor house that owes me a favor.
Were you using that to get off world?
Yes, but...
Okay.
And this is where I was going to mess with you a little bit, Sparrow.
When you said it, I knew.
The person who meets me is Arzu's father.
Oh.
Can I throw something at you,
Yes!
JPG?
Yes.
Demira and I were talking.
Yeah, we were.
We were going to throw that at you anyway.
Yeah, that's what we were. I was trying to like hit him. The rats gotta stick together, man.
Right.
But it's but I think it turns out that the minor house that owes me the favor is Lord Reese. Is House Reese.
That works perfectly for us because that was going to be the suggestion from us anyway.
Lord Reese does not arrive on Arrakis. However, at the time that you're supposed to
Trevor,
depart the spaceport, there's a very quiet knock on the door, and a older gentleman introduces himself as Tess, a mentat for House Reese. And Novieh, he looks at you and he looks at Jamilia and he smiles. He's like, I'm going to take you somewhere. And then I am going to arrive with the rest of House Atreides in a couple days. Because the Reeses have to pack things up on Caladan in order to come here with their stores in order to feed some of the initial people here in House Atreides. So if you stick with me, you'll have your chance to disappear, but I'm going to have to come back. Does that sound acceptable?
And I think the last line that you see Novieh say on screen is, "As long as I breathe, I am here to serve."
Excellent. And there is just this calculating look from this mentat. That small lip tattoo just cracks in a smile. And you are led quietly to a shuttle to a Highliner where it stops, and he quietly gets on a small shuttle as you look out the window at your home of Caladan. And then the Highliner folds space away from it for you to hide until the time is ready. Lyra, Arzu, with Visal's help, the blood and everything has been cleaned. A fresh wrapping has been made, and the body of Nava is tied in a very specific way. And there are loops at the point near her ankles and right around her shoulders that are easy to carry. Mm-hmm. And the two of you can carry it very simply. And Wisal helps. Wisal actually takes the feet and allows you to lead while slowly telling you where to go. It's dark. The sun hasn't risen yet. And you are taken to one of the poorer sections of the Arakeen streets. And Wisal tells you to stop. And she walks ahead and knocks a very specific rhythm on a door. And out steps two Fremen, wrapped head to toe in sheets and shawls, their mouths hidden, just those piercing eyes of Abad, those blue in blue eyes. And they look at the wrapped body, and they look at Visal. And they lead you inside, but you do not go further than just the antechamber. And you hear soft chanting from a room down a hallway. And Wisal just kind of hangs her head, muttering something in the Fremen language. And then she looks at the two of you. Tell me, what do you know about the mother and the son that are coming?
Arzu would defer to Lyra here.
Lyra steps forward and doesn't necessarily make eye contact right off the bat, but begins to explain about the prophecy that the Bene Gesserit believe in.
She nods very, very slowly as you explain it. And she looks at you. If it is true that the mother and the son are coming, then perhaps our prophecy of the Lisan al-Gaib is closer than we think.
Trevor, above table, how
Yes.
Because I'm unfamiliar, how valuable is spice to the Fremen? Do they care about it? Is it something they desire, or they like bleh?
They use it in rituals on occasion. It's in the food always. It's what gives them those blue and blue eyes.
Right.
And sometimes it causes as you're becoming exposed to it, it has hallucinations and things like that. For those that are part of the weirding way, such as the Bene Gesserit and such, it gives anything from higher state of being to looking into the future or the past.
because I still technically have the knowledge of a spice cache. So I guess the question that I'm asking is, would that be valuable to Mara and Weasel, or would it not?
It would, because they would be able to keep it out of any smugglers or house hands.
Okay. Because I want to kind of olive branch that a little bit. That's the hope that I'm throwing out here.
They would accept it, mainly because of your honesty about it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I'm not doing something that she's like, I spit on this. Why are you giving this?
No. It's because of the way you have both treated Nava, reverentially, in that you are, for the most part, calm, and we're not directly responsible for her being attacked. Weasel is still angry but receptive.
Okay.
And they will accept it, and they will keep it out of, unfortunately, both smugglers and the Atreides' hands. This will be a stash that only the Fremen will know about.
Well, and me, but
Well, and you, until it's moved.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to RP it because I could go too long. But basically, that is he is giving that over to Weasel as like I hope that this benefits you, all of you, and Nava's family. It's obviously got a little bit of ripped, like the part of it is ripped off, but like it still says what it needs to say. And that is gone.
Moments pass, probably about maybe 45 minutes to an hour. And then one of the tall Fremen come back and explain something to Weasel, and Weasel nods. And they say something, and they look actually toward the two of you, and then their eyes linger on Lyra. And then they talk again, and you do hear the words Lisan al-Gaib. And Weasel then steps toward the two of you and says, "Come, we must go back to the residency. Dawn will come soon." Mara comes from the dining room and through the kitchen. Doesn't see Jamelia. Doesn't see Novieh. But sees you, Demira. When she walks in, what is she seeing?
Well, actually, because of the fact that in that area, that was like where the staircase was, Demira is gonna basically be found like in a very like disjointed position, like as in like she's been thrown down the stairs and appears to be unconscious.
Okay.
She would have also too, to add like something to it, there probably would be like blood, like a little bit of blood, maybe like a smeared handprint where it's like maybe she was tossed against the wall before being tossed down the stairs.
Calculating.
Yeah, very calculated. Mara immediately comes to your aid, looks very concerned. There's like a small rag with some water on it, trying to like smooth the blood away, and she's trying to wake you up. I'm assuming you're feigning being being unconscious.
Oh, of
using your
course.
conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
And she just looks at you. What has happened?
I tried. And then she just she motions with like basically just kind of trying to play up the fact that she tried to do her best, but got the better of her pretty much, and pointing.
Which way are you pointing?
I'm pointing in a different direction. So it's not the stair, like where they exited. It's to basically further delay. So it would be another exit that's kind of at the opposite end like that would be the opposite of where they actually left the property.
Okay.
Kind of
She
a red
does-
herring, pretty much.
Right. She does notice that the kitchen is in all sorts of panic. Obviously, some like food was stolen and everything
Mhm.
like that, and she just growls to herself and helps you up and takes you into the dining room and very painfully resets your shoulder. One of those moments where she's like, I'm going to pull, and on the count of 3, pops it.
Mhm.
And she looks at you slightly suspiciously, but not very. Just kind of like, how could a one-armed
Hmm.
man do this? But lets it go.
Thank you. I know that we have not been kind to one another during this time.
No,
I
we
will
have not.
admit that I shouldn't have suspected you. But
No,
to be
you should
fair,
not
no
have.
one here was to be trusted.
Had you simply explained what you were here to do for real, perhaps we could have helped. Instead of this moving from room to room in these unknown searches and questions, had you simply asked,
We had our orders. As I said before, we have different people we answer to.
answering orders is one thing, but asking for assistance from people to do those orders sometimes must be done.
That is not for
Wisal,
me to decide.
I understand. Wisal was given orders by Shadat Mapes. She was supposed to be on the lookout and watch your Duchess and her son for signs. If something powerful is coming. Thankfully, she will still do that. And she was not taken away from her path by your, I guess I can't say friend anymore.
We have no relation to one another. No.
Perhaps in time, as we stay within these walls, maybe our relationship will foster better times. Until then, may I have those keys back?
And Demira will, with the arm that was not just set back, will reach and hand the keys over. With time. I hope as well.
With time. And she very slowly goes into the kitchen and comes back out with a small hammered metal cup and a bottle of something. Looks like maybe a bold, thick wine. And with a very slight smile, looks at you. For the pain. It's local. I think you will like it.
Is there a glass that
The
is like
hammered, the hammered
that's
metal
hammered?
cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take it and then just lift the glass as if to kind of
She
acknowledge that peace offering, so to speak.
she begins walking away from the dining room, definitely toward the office, and stops and looks back at you, just one last glance from top to bottom, and then moves on to the office. Lyra and Arzu, we saw brings you back to the residence. While you were gone, about an hour after the body of Shala was placed on the bed, there was a dull thump as a rain of poison needles comes down, enveloping the bed. So by the time you get back, the job has been done. The door is still closed. When you ask, Mara never went in there to look. Maybe she knew, or maybe she just didn't even care anymore.
I think Arzu, his first movement would be to try and check that room, because what he is thinking is maybe there is some sort of like blueprint or way to suggest where these, if there are indeed more than one, where those devices would be.
Oh, down in the secret room in the basement?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting when you go back down there, even after you noticed while you were detailing Nava that the door was still never locked. The door to that secret room was actually partially ajar. And you see another device in the midst of being created. On the end of it is a small string tied and a hole going through a specific piece of paper. On it written, found your note, here's a gift. Sitting, waiting to be put onto a box or tied onto the device itself. And give me just, oh, wait, no, you have constantly watching and passive scrutiny.
Mm-hmm.
There is a small, very small logbook of difficultly, but eventually easy to interpret locations. You notice that instead of a top down or a horizontal map, it's more isometric. And there are devices at all four corners of the residency. And one directly, it seems there was some sort of passage dug or made to place one directly under the office.
Okay. So the device, there was a device attached to the note that said, found your note, here's a gift.
Yep.
Is it complete?
No.
Okay.
The device is probably about half created.
Okay, so I'm gleaning here that it was their intention to basically just like leave it for me to discover.
Yep.
Okay.
Either in your quarters or coming back here. And it looks like a majority of the tools and everything that were remaining have been removed. The room is rather barren except for a small logbook, a pile of parts, and a replacement set of tools.
Okay. I'm going to take the replacement set of tools, the gift, and the note and the logbook. I'm going to inform Mara of where the devices are without the book.
Easily done. With the remaining staff of Cora, Umar, Talora, and Mara herself, Weasal is busy, unfortunately, with Basima to the removal of the of Shala and Shakir and Razi and the detailing of the rooms. The 4 devices are found. The 5th one, under the office, it looks like it had yet to be set. As you get to the area, it's off to the side, wrapped in a small piece of what looks like burlap. And the 2 ends of it that the other 4 you've seen have been screwed together. This one was apart, like it was still waiting to be set to be detonated.
Interesting. I assume like I'm with Mara for this discovery,
oh yeah,
perhaps.
Absolutely. Okay. Oh no, she is taking you to each one.
Yeah.
Kind of like, oh really? You know where they are? Cool. Let's go find out. He doesn't judge you.
No. Arzu is going to carefully explain to Mara what he gave to Weasal, being the spice. And he's going to excuse himself at his first opportunity, and he's going to leave the house, and he is going to head to where he knows Tess would be.
Oh, absolutely. After you kind of knock with your boot on the door, and the door opens. Tess is there, and it looks like that 3/4 of a very similar looking device has been made, but out of inert parts or carved pieces of wood and things like that. He's reconstructing this device. And he looks up with a smile as you come in. He's like, I'm doing the best that I can with what limited things I have.
Tess, you know I appreciate you even attempting this, but and then he takes the one that was left on the note and he sets it on the table. And then he sets the logbook and slides it across. And I think my time here is about up, don't you?
I believe mine is. I do not know what your plans, procedures, or orders are. But I'm not supposed to be here, so I have to leave before they come so I can come back.
I think you know where this, and he taps the book, needs to go, and he's got a little bit of a smile.
Absolutely. It will be available when you need
it. And I think send my parents my regards.
I shall. They should be leaving Caladan in a few days. I'm looking to get off here in a couple. And I hear that I'm going to have a couple extra passengers.
And it's like the same smile from back with Lyra twice now is on his face. I knew he would go in that direction if we just pushed him hard enough.
Everything can be calculated. And I thought that if things were to go bad, I should probably be here anyway, just to make sure that you were safe and maybe a few of your friends.
Well,
looks like I thought right.
You did indeed, and for that, I cannot thank you enough.
So, enjoy your desert, young man. I'll be back when I can be.
You mean you'll be here when you can be?
Semantics.
And he puts his hands in his pockets and walks out. Makes his way back to the home.
That next day, when you were all helping find those devices, and Novieh, you're in the midst of hiding and healing, you do hear those massive horns of Atreides dropships in the spaceport as the advanced team is coming down and securing it. Every once in a while, an Atreides ornithopter comes sailing over the city, kind of doing a pirouette around the residency and then way off back to the spaceport. Just making sure that it hasn't burned down or that the streets seem mostly pacified or ready. But it's not the royal family, at least not yet. That's happening the day after. But there is noise in the street as people are beginning to wonder and question about the next noble house that is coming to mine the spice and say they are stewards and rulers of a planet that they never would have looked twice at. Lyra. As everything slowly winds down and you hear those horns of the Atreides dropships, you keep going in your mind about that message from Reverend Mother Moynihan. When do you act on it?
As soon as I'm able to.
Are you waiting for the royal family to arrive?
Not if I can help it.
Okay. You can depart in the confusion of Atreides shuttles landing and coming up and these large drop ships. You see all of these just massive groups of soldiers beginning to secure areas. And you notice that off in the distance, next to one shuttle, the recognizable form and tan uniform of Thufir Hawat under a parasol, commanding people on where to go. And you very quietly get on a shuttle, devoid of Atreides, mostly full of Arakeen natives or outworlders trying to get out before yet another house comes in. And you board a Highliner. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it possible to bring my sister with me?
Demira, will you leave with Lyra?
I was going to follow.
Okay.
So like even if you didn't bring me, that was going to be kind of my thing, is that I followed secretly. Either way, it's up to you.
I think we definitely said that. I mean, because I already told you where I was going, so it's no secret. Like,
okay, I wasn't sure if you were going like
me.
if you were sneaking out, because then I was like, wait,
no,
where are you heading? Okay, good.
I'm sneaking out from everybody else, but not from you.
Well,
okay.
With the both of you involved, it's actually very easy to get on because between very subtle uses of the voice and the stealthiness of your sister, getting onto a kind of a locals and outworlders only shuttle is very easy. And there are numerous Highliners in orbit, those long stretched out tubes containing thousands of ships, tens or hundreds of thousands of people, folding space, going every way. And your mind flashes back to that moment leaving Caladan, when the countdown begins and you feel that strange lurch of being in two places at once. And instead of the announcement saying Arrakis or Caladan, you hear Kaitan, home of the Golden Lion throne. Everyone departing, please do so now. And you are coming in on a shuttle to Kaitan, to the planet of Emperor Shaddam IV, the Emperor's family, and his truthsayer, Reverend Mother Gaius Moyham, who meets you at the landing party, or at the landing port, and just very, very sternly walks up to the two of you. Come. And turns and walks, her black fabric of that robe flowing in the wind, the large rectangular headpiece of a Reverend Mother with the veil over her face, having absolutely no emotion. And she leads you through the Imperial Palace and the gardens. Off in the distance, you see Princess Aurelian walking with the Emperor. You're passing courtiers, servants, and you are led into a small private room, very dark. Deep, almost black mahogany furnishings, and a small table with 3 chairs. Off to the side, you notice one of the testing boxes, small and green, just sitting on the side of the table. Next to it, a poison needle. And she motions the two of you to sit down and looms over you in her chair. Sister Lyra, I did not expect your sister to be here as well. But perhaps it is better than both of you are off the planet in the coming days.
Yes, Mother. I brought Demira as a means of protection.
Understandable, considering the charge you have. Is she still safe?
She is.
And the Reverend Mother's face turns to Demira, and you can feel her staring through you. Does she know?
Only what she needed to know at the time.
Should she know?
Demira
Sister-
will, where she looked down, she will immediately kind of like throw a glance at her sister, not understanding exactly what is happening.
Sister, I have to ask, where does your allegiance lie now?
Where it always has, with the sisterhood, of course. And then she looks directly at Mother, and she like looks almost like a kid, like catching the eye of their mom, and then looks down immediately.
Reverend Mother Moyham sits back and just glances at Lyra, and then back to Demira, wordlessly.
Then, Mother, she has a right to know.
Then speak your truth.
Dear sister, as you've known, I am with child. I am upholding our prophecy as charged by Reverend Mother Gaius. But the part that you don't know is that part of the mission was to retrieve the genetics from a family that is of the utmost danger. But I have to keep the prophecy intact, and therefore I am carrying the daughter of a Harkonian.
So it is not the Duchess that carries the prophecy, but you, Lyra.
There are many bloodlines that are currently being pruned. Dear sister, Lyra is simply a means to an end to keep one from being exterminated. There are reasons why I recalled her. Because in the coming days, a great doom will befall House Atreides. And if someone does not stay to their bargain, I'm afraid that the offspring of Jessica may not survive. Plans within plans, sisters.
Of course. You always know what's best for the sisterhood and for us. But
We always have.
May I ask one question?
Of course.
What does that mean of my mission?
That depends. Do you feel that you are still bound by your devotion to House Reese?
Yes. Because you told me that that was where my devotion should lie, that it was part of the grand design.
And so it is. So what I will say is this. Take a shuttle to a guild ship. Go back to Arrakis and help him survive when the darkness comes. For his house is in danger too, as are all of the houses aligned with the Atreides. Speak nothing of this to him. And there is that slightly distorted, almost a command through the voice. She was just ready to use it, but didn't. I hope you survive.
I won't let you down. And then she bows her head again, but she will strike a glance quickly at Lyra. But I don't think that you know if that glance, there was a deeper meaning to that glance.
Lyra, I
so
think for the
quick.
first time, drops her like demeanor. You like can show the fear for Demira.
Go now. Time is wasting.
Yes, Reverend Mother.
And you, enjoy Kaitan. Rest and preserve what you can.
Yes, Mother.
Now go.
Lyra takes off.
Demira, you take a shuttle back to a highliner, and there are many leaving toward us. So it's very simple to get back there. And you have arrived, and the royal family has already made planetfall. The residency is active. Lord Reese, it was a procession that was coming in. And Thufir Hawad actually pulls you aside. So, was everything found and anything found and everything taken care of? Are we secure?
Lord Reese explains about the traps that were found and the situation with the I can't remember his name, the guy that Jamilia's was seeing.
Oh, Anton. Yeah.
And about Anton and about Shala. And he makes a point to say that he was warned off of suspecting Shala.
At least you found the problem. And we thank you. I knew I sent the right group of people. And he kind of like glances. Where is Novieh?
I do not know. He was not there when myself and Sister Lyra went to take care of the of a problem. We left the house for a short bit of time, and when we returned, he was gone, and Sister Demira was injured.
You're not suggesting that he did that.
I'm just telling you what I know from what I was told by Sister Demira and Mara. He was gone, she was injured. Can't say if they were correlated. I wasn't there.
Correlation does not always equal causation. And you see just briefly his eyes kind of roll back to do some calculations. Thank you, Lord Reese. You may go.
Thank you. And he heads out.
Where are you going, Arzu? Are you staying at the residency? Are you awaiting your own family? I mean, there's no reason for them to attend other than in a ceremonial way.
Oh yeah, he's going to his family.
Oh, you're going back to Caladan?
Yeah, I guess if that's where his family's going, that's where he's going.
Yeah, because they're not coming yet. They're waiting for everything to be settled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's gonna go see his parents because
okay.
He plays it a lot cool, but he knows that like one or two other things, and that would have been the last that he saw his parents. So he's trying to see him while he can.
Demira, you get that intercept, and you, instead of going back to Arrakis, go back to Caladan. And both for you and Lord Reese, it is beautifully different than Arrakis. The wind, the water, rain, cliff sides, just glorious compared. And there you wait for about a week before it's time to go to Arrakis. But then, Novieh, you hear through chatter. Lyra, you hear while at court surrounding the Emperor, hearing words from Sister Aurelian. Arzu, Demira, you hear through simple movements of the great houses. About a week and a half after the Atreides landed on Arrakis, a small, overlooked device shorted out and brought the shield generator offline. From what sources said that got off planet, there may have been a traitor amongst the Atreides. Power was shut down to most of the residency and even some of the cities. The armament batteries surrounding became active, but were quickly overwhelmed by hordes of Harkonnen dropships. soldiers, ornithopters, artillery. They laid siege to Arakeen. And the Atreides died in the dark. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we end Dune Desertfall. Successfully, all the 4 agents did find those that were responsible, the spies, the traps, all but one. And we're all off-world when everything went to shit. God, it is with a very sad statement that I have to say that is the end of our mini campaign. And I personally have to thank April from Modiphius and Modiphius themselves for giving us the opportunity to show people, the 2D20 Dune Adventures of the Imperium system. But honestly, I have to thank this cast. I could not have done this without you. I firmly believe that a game master's duty is to listen to the story of the players that are telling that story. I'm just the unreliable narrator. But please let everybody else know who you all are. And we will start with the fantastic sister, Demira Zool, the handmaiden to Lord Arzu Reese, and literal sister to Sister Lyra-Du.
Yes. First of all, thank you so much, Trevor, for just leading us on this amazing journey, and lots of edge of our seat moments, and lots of threat, which was really, really fun. And
I had 16 at the end.
16. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I burned some just in case to make sure
Oh
things
my
weren't found.
goodness. And also too, just like the rest of, just being at a table with some of my favorite people. This was such an amazing time, and I absolutely loved everybody's characters, and I had such a great time. But enough about me, just like being in awe of everybody here, including April, who's been running everything behind the scenes. I am or have been Brianna, or as many of you know me on the social of the medias, Utahime, Utahime, Utahime Cosplay. You can find me at Utahime Cosplay pretty much everywhere except on the app formerly known as Twitter. You can find me at Brianna DeCosta there. And of course, I did play Sister Demira Zool, which was a lot of fun because she was very, very sneaky, which I love to do and play. So yes, if you want to see what I'm up to, as the name suggests, I'm a cosplayer, but I'm also up to lots of tabletop shenanigans, including Magic the Gathering. So if you are into any or all of those things, be sure to follow me and see what I'm up to. But otherwise, thank you all who joined us in chat and all the raiders. You guys are amazing. And thank you for all the support. Passing it along.
Going along to the Lord Heir to a minor house, Lord Arzu Reese.
Hello, I am your favorite burb on the interweb. You can call me A Black Sparrow. I am A Black Sparrow on all of the social medias, including the app formerly known as Twitter. You can find me at A Black Sparrow, Twitch, etc., etc. Also co-founder of Feywild and Out, so you can find me over there once we get back up and running over there. Thank you so very, very much to the cast, to Modiphius, to Trevor, April running production. Y'all are all fantastic. This has been an absolute dream. I'm real sad to put this character away. But I want to thank y'all so very, very much. And that's all I really have to say, so I don't ramble.
The Wallflower, the Master of Subterfuge, the Atreides steward and assassin of the Atreides household, Novieh. I do believe you were muted,
Oh,
sir.
don't forget
Sorry, I'm on mute.
the breaker of necks.
The breaker of necks.
Yes, the breaker
Yes.
of necks was
The
another
user
one too.
of books.
Hi everyone, I'm JPG. I have played Novieh for this session. Thank you so much to Trevor and to April and to Modiphius for having me on. I am I'm a pop culture educator and consultant. The next few times that you can see me live, I am going to be talking at both San Diego Comic-Con and Gen Con Indianapolis. And so I run the consulting firm Intermyth, where it helps marginalized communities launch pop culture content in the content creation space. So check me out. My social media is at SpeakerJPG.
Last and certainly not least, the wielder of the voice and the carrier of the daughter of Glossu the Beast Raban Harkonnen, Sister Lyra Dune.
Hey everyone, I am Cynthia Marie. Again, just as everybody has reiterated, huge thanks to everybody I got to play with. What a freaking honor it is to play with all of you. Thank you to Modiphius. April, you have been a charming person and amazing. This is great. And Trevor, our unreliable narrator, you were very reliable at being unreliable. So thank you for all of that. Much appreciated. Definitely kept me on my toes. Let's see here. Where can you find me next? I am coming up on a couple of different things. I am going to be playing Candela Obscura over on North Wolf's channel. So you can find on my social media when that's going to start up. I'm also probably one of the first times I'm going to talk about this. I'm also coming out in Castleton along with my sister over here. So check us out. There's a lot of people playing in that, so I'm sure like you'll just see a whole bunch of social media on that. And I'm also going to be LARPing in Chicago coming up at the Dark Emergent event. So if you ever wanted to play Vampire LARP, like you should check it out. It's going to be totally fun in Chicago. And they just announced that it's also going to be in Vegas too in November. So if you can't make Chicago, November. Yeah. So anyways, this was a wonderful time. I really loved digging into Dune. I actually held off on watching any other parts of Dune because I didn't want it to affect what we had going here. So now I'm going to go watch the movie. So thank you.
Nice.
Oh, wait, I didn't even share my social media. Duh.
Oh, yeah.
At Dancer on most of the platforms that you can find me. There you go.
Yeah, no, because I want people to find all four of you. Because you were all absolutely amazing. And again, it's been an honor and an absolute privilege to be your GM. Thank you, Modiphius. Thank you to April behind the scenes. Just keeping us running. Like I could not have done this without April. But I have been Trevor Valle. I am a professional GM. I do some writing if you need, to go over game mechanics or anything like that. I've been doing this for about 40 years. You can find everything about me at Tattoos and Bones, my very occasionally updated and somewhat crappy website that's changing soon. Next up, I am Monday nights. I am in -2 Charisma's Dead Collection. It is a Wild West inspired 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons game. And well, that's it. I'm trying to get to Gen Con to be on a couple panels. Maybe I'll get tapped to do something at San Diego. But I'm absolutely going to be at Dragon Con at the on what's it called? Labor Day weekend. But yeah, just find me at tattoosandbones.com or at tattoosandbones pretty much on every single site. But again, thank you so much to Modiphius, April, and absolutely this amazing cast. Holy crap. And you all four of you made it off world. That doesn't necessarily mean your story is over. So maybe we'll whisper to Modiphius and see what we can do next. But from all of us to all of you, thank you very much, and bless the maker and his water. Bless the coming and going of him. And may his passage cleanse the world, and may he keep the world for his people. Good night.